The White Roller Coaster Disaster. The infamous death of Kilee King. The White Roller Coaster Disaster, one of several calamities, but it looks to be one of the most severe. Just over 30 years ago, the fate of a 13-year-old girl named Kilee King became the scene of an unspeakable tragedy on the White Roller Coaster. It happened in an instant. She was gone before her brain could even register that life had slipped away. The fateful day was June 9th, 1989. What transpired on that day foreshadowed numerous events in this tragic accident narrative. This is the infamous death of Kilee King at the White Roller Coaster Disaster. Chapter 1. Kilee King. Born on February 7th, 1976, in the quaint town of Bountiful, Utah, Kilee was a beautiful, charming, young, smart girl, the youngest of a family of 5 to parents Susan Slinger, her mother, and Wayne King, her father. As she grew up in the picturesque landscape of the American West, Kilee embodied the vibrancy of the bountiful town. By the time she was 13, she was full of life, with dreams that soared beyond the horizons of her small city. Bright and ambitious despite her age, Kilee was not your regular girl. As of 13, she had become a qualified gymnast and had her eyes set on the Olympics. And trust me when I say she was well on her way to making those dreams a reality. Friends and neighbors also pointed out her aspirations, describing her as vivacious, energetic, and a natural leader. Always going out of her way to lift those around her. She was that little girl you can think would make sure no one felt left out. You see, it was the adventurous spirit that led her to the Lagoon amusement park, time and time again. Often Kilee frequented the park, and her best ride was the iconic white wooden roller coaster. But June 9th, 1989, however, would be a day unlike any other for Kilee. Chapter 2. The Tragic Disaster. On a summer hot afternoon at the Lagoon Park, Kilee and her young friends were having the best day to themselves. Merry-go-rounds, bumper cars, and cotton candy, you name it. They indulged in everything the park had to offer and enjoyed themselves as they often did. After this, the plan was to hop on the roller coaster ride at 5:45 p.m. Little did the group know what was about to happen. The towering wooden white roller coaster was a relic from 1921, exhilarating, albeit nostalgic, and much of the ride was a bumpy experience. It was also known at the time for its relatively safe record. 2 deaths in 60 years was negligible of a number for Kilee's parents to always let her go have the fun that piqued her interest. On that day, Kilee and her friends took their seats in the front row, which was the best spot for thrill-seekers eager to feel the rush of adrenaline as the coaster soared down its steep drops. As the roller coaster ascended to its second hill, Kilee tried to feel that excitement that usually comes with a momentary weightlessness on the ride as it drops down the steep hill. She pushed herself up against the safety bar, with hands lifted high into the air, but in an instant, her excitement turned fatal. What occurred was that the momentum of her body, together with the angle of the coaster, as of the time it got to the second hill, caused her to slip beneath the lap bar that was supposed to hold her in place. Kilee fell 35 feet to the ground below her, her body limp as it hit the grassy area underneath the coaster's wooden frame, diving headfirst to the ground. Kilee was found with her neck, back, and spine broken from the fall. The ride had not ended before her friends looked to Kilee's path, and she was no longer there. In complete shock, they started screaming for help before the ride even ended, and immediately park staff rushed to stop the ride. At that point, it was no longer thought of if Kilee could be resuscitated. She had died upon impact to the ground. Chapter 3. Investigation and Theories. Now listen, in the aftermath of the disaster, an investigation was launched. And not only that, numerous theories circulated as well. Because come to think of it, how could such a tragedy occur? Was the roller coaster to blame? Or had Kilee's actions contributed to the incident? Well, during the investigation, just after the incident, Lagoon Park's marketing director, at the time a man named Dick Andrew, clearly stated to the investigator that the ride did not malfunction. But something had to support his claim, because the explanation didn't satisfy the growing concerns from both the public and Kilee's grieving family, which led to the details of the investigation. The detective at the time assigned to the Kilee case was Detective Sergeant Jeff Jacobson, and when he started his investigation, he spent a total of 6 well-spent hours inspecting the ride. But guess what? Nothing was going to be wrong with riding. No mechanical failure of any sort. What he stumbled upon was even more chilling than he expected before the investigation was launched. What led to Kilee's death was a deadly quirk of physics. You see, Kilee naturally weighed only 71 pounds and was standing at a height of 5'3". And with this, the information revealed that Kilee did try to straighten her legs and push herself upward in a moment of exhilaration, which she did during the ride. Second was that normally the lap bar would have caught her thighs and held her securely, but due to her small frame, it was nearly impossible. So listen, the lap bar failed to restrain her properly. The car's direction changed before Kilee's body did, and combined with the coaster's sharp turn, she was forcefully ejected from the ride. Sadly, this was a combination of her actions and physique that led to her tragic fall, slipping out of the 12-car ride. All of this further proved that the lap bar had remained secured, and this was the reason no other passengers were involved, which Dick Andrew, the park's marketing director, had also said earlier on. Chapter 4: Community and Legal Response. As the investigation unfolded, Kilee's mother, Susan Slinger, pursued a negligence lawsuit against Lagoon Park, arguing that the roller coaster's design and safety restraints were inherently dangerous. You see, already this isn't what a parent should witness. But despite the outpour and anger from Kilee King's mom, nothing could be done. No case was formed because the results from the investigation surrounding Kilee's death couldn't be attributed to anyone's fault in particular. There was no criminal negligence on the part of the park, and this was just one of many unfortunate accidents to occur again. But this time, the sad incident was caused by the victim's actions. But one thing is clear: Kilee's death shook the community of Bountiful to its core. Her classmates were devastated, with Jeremy Christopher, a close friend of Kilee, expressing, "Next year in 8th grade, I'll think about her a lot. She's gone and I still can't understand what happened on that roller coaster." Shortly after the investigation came to an end and the Lagoon Park reopened, the management opted to make changes to its safety restraints on the white roller coaster, which was the only right thing to do in order to consider all possible disaster likelihoods, most especially for riders of Kilee's age and body size. People should not worry about accidents when visiting Lagoon, because cases such as Kilee King's are very uncommon, said Clark Robinson, a worker at Lagoon Park for over 27 years. In his statement, he added that over the 127 years that Lagoon has been running and available to the public, there have been 16 deaths overall, including incidents not involving any of the rides, like heart attacks, and nearly half of those were caused by the patrons' negligence or recklessness. There are just so many things that cannot be controlled by a safety restraint. While the ride continues to operate today, no other accident has been recorded on the wooden, white roller coaster. But the memory of Kilee King, the girl who lost her life in the momentary pursuit of joy, would have her name etched forever in the hearts of those who remember. Her name will be written in the books of those gone too soon. Rest in peace, Kilee King. As always, thank you for your support of our videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. If you appreciate the work, do well to share your thoughts about the accident in the comments below. Until then, see you in another video.